It's an absolutely gorgeous sunny Sunday morning here in Colorado. I'm out at the West Apiary and I'm going to look at the hives today. We had a great inspection of the East Apiary yesterday, and I put on a bunch of supers, so I brought the rest of my wet honey supers from our July honey extraction, and I've got 6 with me, so I can I can add supers to 6 hives, or add a box to 6 hives for whatever they need it for. But if everybody needs a box today, I'm going to be in trouble. That would be a good problem to have. Let's find out. We'll do a quick walk down the row of the hives first and take a look at the entrances. I am early today, so this is such an ideal time to inspect. Everybody tends to be really calm, really happy, just waking up for the day. We'll see. We'll see if they're still that happy when I start poking around, but I'll be gentle. And I hope we will all get along. Okay, I think that's all the zippers. Let's put this around my neck. Okay, and we'll do our walk down the hive row to start. Got the tool bucket. Today I actually remembered to bring the wax bucket. That helps. We'll set this behind the first hives. A lot of activity at the front for everybody, so that's good to see. Let's come down and do a quick front survey. So starting hive position, pretty much number 1. That would be the Randall hive. That's looking good. That's got actually 3 deeps. That's the hive somebody gave us, and it's doing pretty well. But I'm calling that one Randall. And then over next we've got Scooby. Scooby's got 3 mediums, and Scooby's looking pretty good. A lot of activity. I'm seeing Cheeto pollen coming in. My goodness, they're just packed. Wow. Okay, over here, this hive has virtually no activity. Okay, that's not good. Dino's pretty quiet this morning, but pollen coming in there. Nice light yellow pollen on that one. And then next up is Velma. Velma's a little quiet this morning too, but Cheeto pollen coming in. And look at this, I just saw 3 or 4 coming in here on the next one, Pebbles. Pebbles is huge. Pebbles got 5 boxes already. I would anticipate Pebbles is going to need a little love. And of course, Fred. And look at the pollen coming in there too, white. We've got the rainbow of pollen colors. My goodness. Okay, so that's Fred, and then last but not least is Scrappy. And so of the hives, I'm glad to see a little pollen there too, but Scrappy, I'm pretty sure there was no queen. It's here 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I skipped this one last week too. So no queen in Scrappy, and there was no queen in Dino. So Dino's awfully quiet. That's not good. So we'll take a extra long look at those 2, but the rest of them all had a queen 2 weeks ago, and as long as they are building out well and looking happy, I think we're probably just gonna do the old "do you need a super" test. So let's start with hive 1, Randall. Oh my gosh, the top is just cemented on there. Holy mazzoli. That's a lot of bees up top there. Well, I knocked the inner cover off, so I guess that's to be expected. Let's take that. Is that inner cover gonna come off? That inner cover doesn't want to come off. You know what? You can keep your inner cover. And let's see. Oh. Good morning, everybody. What you got going here? You got honey. Actually, they have 2 deeps. I did fix this one. They have 2 deeps and a proper super with a medium box here. But they are working uniformly the honey across these frames. So yeah, they've got another week to go, but they're going to fill that box. And they're all happy to see me today, aren't you? Yeah. Let's put your top on. What do you say? I think we're going to leave Randall as is. Say sorry. Didn't mean to cause such a kerfuffle. No new box for Randall, but Randall's building out well. And Randall, it's a bit spicy. It is a... When we got this hive from folks, I for a time wondered if it had 2 queens. We did some major surgery on it and really rebuilt it. It was not happy with me when I did that, but I think it helped it out, and it's in pretty good shape now. Moving on to Scooby. Scooby Dooby. I have high hopes for you that you may want a super, but let's see what you tell me. Oh my, that top's on. There we go. Fair amount of folks hanging out up there. I bent my hive tool trying to get that inner cover out. How are we doing in here? The big question would be, this is whatever this is. I don't think I'm bending that back. I don't think I need to, but it makes my hand coat kind of off. If there's brood in here, you guys are getting a queen excluder and a super. Feels like there could be brood. And it's a build out of a frame. Oh, I remember these were crappy frames, weren't they? They gave you a bunch of crappy frames in box. What about next door here? Well, why is everybody so testy this morning? That's getting built out. Those are just terrible frames. What do we have over here? There's brood. Very happy brood. You know what I could do? Sorry. Ooh, everybody's just... You know what? We may want to do a little smoke here this morning. Because I think everybody's just kind of a bit grumpy. So that's easy peasy. I think a little smoke on a morning like this might just kind of quiet them down. Come on. That's going to be a bummer. And not making a spark. Well, doesn't look like there's smoke as an option for me today. I do not have a backup. Do I have any kind of a backup to make a pollen? Not really. Is there any chance of a lighter laying around? I really doubt it. Anything in there that'll catch fire? Dash cam. That really does me no good. Okay. In that case, we're going without smoke. Note to self. Get a backup way to set things on fire. This is just unhappy. Okay, well, that's how it goes. But what this hive is going to get, back to the task at hand, is yield queen excluder, because we saw brood, we saw a nice brood. We saw a couple of crappy frames, and then we saw a nice brood. So my question is, do I want to go ahead and take the heat from these bees to pull those two crummy frames out of there? Because my thinking is, if I pull the crummy frames out and give them something slightly better, they may want to actually, build brood. So they hate the other ones. These aren't the best because it's got a little mold on those. But if they're going to use it for brood, and I'm going to leave it for brood, I think they can clean that up and they'll probably take care of it. So let me at least bring a couple over. What am I doing here? 2. Hope springs eternal. So let's give them this super down below. To come up and make honey in. I think I've got 10 in here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So we're going to bring this over, and we're going to, first exercise is going to be to replace, let's see. Oh, They were grumpy, but let's try it. Because they're clearly not liking those other frames. So let's see if I can give them something they'd like a little better. Okay, so you guys didn't like this middle frame, right? These middle two were kind of icky. I think your opinion was you don't want to build on these. Although you've just about got it where it needs to be. You did a lot of work. What about the one right next to it? You know what? I think they may be saving that. I don't know if they build it out. They'd probably use it for brood. This one. I think you'd all be happier working this. That's a nice wet honey frame. That ought to freak them out a little bit. Now this one they've done a huge amount of work on, so they're keeping that. Okay. I'm just torn about this one. No, I think I'm going to leave it. Okay. Leaving it because... Yeah, why? Super's over there. Leaving it because they've got a lot of wax built out. My thinking is they're getting ready to get a queen in there. She's got brood right next to it. I think the odds of that going full honey are pretty low. But I think the odds of them making honey are pretty good. So let's go ahead and give them this queen excluder. Why is it a queen excluder? Queen's butt's so fat she can't fit through. And then we'll give them this. This will be like, oh my gosh! This is a wet super. Yeah, you're excited about that, aren't you? That smells good. I'll bet you. Okay, so number 9 in the middle. And then let's space these out a bit. Yet you're welcome. Tell everybody how fun this is. And that beekeeper who you were grumpy at is actually not such a bad guy. Okay, I just want to make the spacing as even as I can to avoid any real creative construction projects from the bees. That is close enough. Look at that, folks. That was pretty cool, huh? Let's tap this frame off right here in front of the hive. Let's just make sure I don't have a queen sitting on this frame. Tell you what, because you never know. Well, I've got the super on now, so I don't want to tap right there, but I don't see a queen. I don't see any behavior that suggests a queen. So I think you're all Go on, girls. I don't want to squish anybody putting the top on, but it will squish you, spider. No spider babies. All right, so there we go. Wrapping up Scooby, closing up the hive, second hive, and that is, we saw brood, and we added a queen excluder and a honey super. And of course, the strap doesn't fit, so let's give some more slack. There we go. Strap tight, one super in place for Scooby. Yay, you made it to getting a super. Oh, let's make some notes real quick. Randall was building in super. Whoops, that's Randall down there. And then Scooby is plus QE and super brood in box 3. Okay. 2025. Swarm 1. Is that this one? Well, let's see what the heck is in here. Why isn't this labeled? Dummy. Keep those frames at hand just in case we need them. And so 2025 West one. What's in here? This would be the third position hive. It's sealed up, that's for sure. But it's not very heavy, that's for sure. And we have bees. So I wonder how I avoided labeling that. Oh, that's right, because this was 2025 West 1. So this is one of the ones I took out of the bee huts this year. Got it. So this one was in trouble and just kind of failing to thrive in the bee huts. It doesn't look like it's doing remarkably better out here. So let's see if we've got any brood or if this is just a goner. That looks like a worker brood. Yeah, there's larvae in there, but well, is it? It does not look good. If it is a queen, she's not very good. But that looks more promising somehow than just straight worker brood. Look at him get angry. That indicates Queenless. Consistent and full enough to almost make me think it's a queen. So I think I'm going to have to resort to the old adage, when you don't know what's going on, let the bees figure it out themselves. They're certainly not happy with me looking at them. Cloud around me. So let's remember that this was from 2025. I'll probably have to remember that next week if I don't actually label this. But just to bring down the volume, let me see if I can walk away from all these girls who are telling me what a bad person I am. Let me go walk around the truck once. Would have been a little easier to smoke, dummy. swampy back there. Okay, so that one is 2024 West 1, maybe a queen. AQ, brood, but bad. Check next week. Okay, now one I expect to have a bad outcome is Dino. When we last left Dino and last looked at Dino 2 weeks ago, Dino did not have a queen. So let's see where you sit this week, Dino. That always surprises me too, because they may have superseded, they may have added a queen, they may have done something, you know, and you just can't tell. Because sometimes I do this, and then, you know, you open the hive and, oh look, sheets of brood. And it's like, well, you just left them alone long enough for them to fix it themselves. And then sometimes I intervene, and I probably, you know, wind up killing the hive. All right, but Dino, tell me what you got. Okay, well, pretty solid clump of bees. Good to see. Let's check down in. Are you going to be as equally Pop-Tarty? Yes, you are, aren't you? Especially if you're queenless. Maybe I should have saved you till the last. Okay. Well, I'm seeing some honey over there, capped. Let's see if there is any. I know I'm going to pull this frame based on how everybody else has behaved this morning. You guys are going to come up and you're going to say, "What you doing, man?" That is a big empty frame. It's a little weirdly shaped. Very weirdly shaped on that side. Not a thing in it. Dino? Dino. This doesn't look good. Now it looks absolutely fantastic. You know, for a queenless hive, that's a lot of brood. Happy surprise. All right. What that tells me is I'm staying out of your way. You got plenty of room in box 3. Also, notice how much calmer they are. I mean, I guess they've got a new queen who's doing her thing. I'll take that win. Rock on. Dino's big task will be to that's a very low-flying plane. Dino's next task is going to be get yourself in the spot to be ready for winter. I believe it'll be interesting to see if Dino participates in honey harvest this year. Velma, you've been struggling. So Dino, let me make a note real quick before I get into Velma. Dino, yay, exclamation mark, brood in box 3 for Dino. Nice. Now, Velma, show me some happiness here. Tell me you're ready for a box. I think Velma got combined. I think I've used Velma to help a few other hives and do some creative stuff this season. So she may be a little... Well, that looks pretty good. You ready for more space today? Let's see. Well, that's looking pretty full. That's, I think that may be the case. You're calm. Looks like you've got to build out to the far edge here. Let's just take a look at... Got some money out there? And I didn't just mess up. Yep. You're already building out to there. Now let's see if we see something happy about here. Show me the babies. They're being pretty calm as I'm going into the hive. That may be a good thing. I'll be as gentle as I can. Now that, I believe, is a thing of absolute drop-dead jaw, slack jaw open beauty. That is the exact kind of frame I like to see. I'm not seeing any mite holes on the brood cappings. That's nice. But look at that beautiful, beautiful section of brood right there. Beautiful section of brood, honey right around the outside edge. Let's take a look at the other side. Same thing. You know what? You get a box. Happy Sunday box for Velma. I think I saw all the evidence I want to see. I could look at that, but I don't think it's going to change my mind. So let's go get them a box. Box time, box time. They're going to freak. Be interesting for this one that's going to have so much wet on it. Holy mazzoli. Those are really wet. They're heavy. That had a bunch of crystallized in it, I think. So let me see if I can find one that's slightly better here. It's a Russian olive tree. I got to make sure I don't wrestle with a Russian olive tree in a bee suit. Not a great plan. What do we have here? That's just a lot of crystallized goo. Maybe we just build a nice one. That's not bad. Okay, that's kind of okay. Oh, we should draw a hive tool over. That's why you use a hive tool. Maybe we'll just give him this one. What do you think? How's the box? This is one I built myself. Back in the early days when I thought, hey, I bet I can build them cheaper than I can just buy them. You know what? You can. If you're me, you're not as good as professional manufacturers. All right, we're going to give them that one. Because I like the shape of that box a little better. I mean, by shape, I just mean condition of the wood and the whole thing. You know what? They will do with it what they will. This is probably like, I'm going to hope that this is like giving them a little turbocharge, because there's just going to be a huge amount of free food in here for them with all the leftover honey. Now, granted, there's a bit of a wax project, but just like Dino over there, Velma's job, Velma's full focus for the rest of 2025 is get yourself ready to make it through winter. And then next week we're coming out and we're doing my universal treatment of Varroa for everybody. And then we're going to run that going into the fall and see how we do. It'll be my first year using Varroa as a Varroa mite treatment. So I look forward to seeing what comes of that. All right. There we go. Velma, enjoy. You can still play with that wax. That's fine today. So Velma gets a box, but it's a builder box. It's just their third one. So I'm hoping that beautiful, beautiful brood, that queen will decide to go up into that third box and make some more of that. That was nice. Okay, Velma. Velma, we're going to say gorgeous brood in box 2, added box 3 medium. Okay, Pebbles. Pebbles, Pebbles, Pebbles. Kind of expect you'll need or want a honey super because you're a giganto. Okay. Let's get going with Pebbles. Let's see what we see up top. Oh, these just pop out. I know, I should have used smoke. How y'all doing on this super? Are you queen excluded? You may not be. Whatever you're doing, you're in progress there. So I think we don't need to add anything to you, and that's good enough for today. Next week, we're going to have some major surgery, and we're going to guarantee our smoker is working, so that you can get your dose of mite treatment. Now, Varroa is an interesting one. It's oxalic acid. Oxalic acid kills the Varroa mites through contact. So these things are sort of like infused strips that have a 45-50 day leave-in time frame. So they are building in box 5 in Velma. Pebbles. Building in box 5. Building honey in box 5. Fred! Let's see if you're yabba dabba delicious today. Are you in need of another box? You already have. Hi, Fred has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And are we going to 6? Yeah, got a lot of ladies using the rear entrance here. Dancing around a lot there. They're saying, oh, our world just changed real quick. What's going on? That's all right. This too shall pass quite quickly. My sense is this is not going to be full up, and that's fine. Well, let's see kind of where you are and what you're doing. You are queen excluded. Yeah, you're not like exploding out of here, but it's nicely cleaned and you're doing great work. Yeah, look at on the frames. This was one of those frames. Freaking airplanes. This was one of those frames that had some mold. And I can see they're building new wax on top of it, cleaning up some of it. So, okay, I'm going to say that one may have been okay. I don't know. You know, sometimes I do stupid things. Feel free to comment for me if I see me doing something stupid. I guaranteed one thing that I know about beekeeping for sure, absolutely, unequivocally, know with all my heart, is that I don't know it all. And in fact, I really don't know compared to people who've been doing this their whole lives. Yeah. So we're going to let them build in Fred. No new box today, but they are building honey in box 5. So that's good. Then we've got one last check. And that should put us here. Scrappy was queenless before. So, you know, this could be a... It is building in box 5. Building honey in box 5. Okay, Scrappy, show me the same Dino happiness, would you? Show me that you came up with a queen somehow. That would make this inspection just delightful. Not quite everybody getting a new box because you're building so much, but I will just take everybody with a queen as a big win. How do you look? Well, there's a few bees. I'm going to guess you're probably not full up in box 3. Not with that number of kids up there. You look very quiet. What you doing? You're moving very slowly in here. Let's see if this wakes you up. Ooh. Let's just destroy that frame. Okay, we're not going to check that one. How about this one next to it? How about this one? Wow, those are purplized or waxed in there. It's coming up, but that's breaking that frame too. Jesus. All right, what about this one? That frame that'll come out. Okay, that end will. And that end will. Okay. That looks like all honey from this angle. Capped honey. And that tells me, and that's capped honey next to it there. That's a big ass one of capped honey. So with this being all capped honey, that tells me we gotta pop a box and go down one. But my spidey sense is we are not gonna find happiness here. We're working honey over there. All right, here we go. Here's the bottom of that frame. Oh my. Yeah, I'm not getting a sense that I'm going to find any brood here. They've certainly done their wax homework. Stuck everything together pretty hard. just solid honey too. On its way. That means you weasels without a leader. I think I'm going to probably reach that conclusion here pretty quick. Behavior. All the brood frames are getting filled in with honey. Okay. Whew, so no recovery for you on your own. Pooh! I was hoping for a clean victory all the way across. And they're starting to get even more grumpy. Well, so I don't know that I'm going to try a queen miracle. I'd love to have you guys make it. We're going to give you another week. And then next week what we're going to do is we come out, we give it one more week just to see if there's a late summer miracle. I doubt it. So what the plan will be is we'll take your remaining folks here and folks who need new boxes. We will give it to them with a newspaper join from your colony with some bees and give them all a little boost and give you somewhere to go. Not that I want to shut you down, but you know, I just don't know that they're worth saving. I think I tried to requeen you twice. Okay, Scrappy, so still no Q. No Q. Donor? Question mark? Yeah, unless the world dumps a queen in my lap or gives me a solution between now and next week, I think that's what we're looking at. What else do I have out here? I think that's pretty much it. I have a couple of grumpy guard bees. I'm going to stay grumpy until I walk away for a little while. I'm not sure those are guard bees. Those could just be regular bees who are pissed at me. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Oh, hive tool. My bent hive tool. And 2 frames. I think that was maybe not the best news for everybody. That was some pretty solidly good news for a while. I'll put that out around the bee huts. Let everybody go party on all that honey. Coffee comes with me up front. There we go. That was a very nice inspection. Very happy with the outcome. Would have been nice. Oh, I forgot that frame right there. Let me go get that. That was the frame I was taking away. And I was letting all those bees crawl off of that. And they have crawled off. Well, most of them did. Now they're off. There we go. They might have made it on that one, but Why make them work that hard? Okay, now, final check. I'm happy.